RFK Jr. can't hear the haters. The MAHA chief partnering with the Agriculture Department today to announce a $700 million pilot program to support regenerative farming, which focuses on soil health to produce more nutritious food.
His relentless fight to make America healthy again is really triggering the left. One House Democrat filing articles of impeachment against RFK Jr. today. Haley Stevens from Michigan.
RFK Jr. has turned his back on science, on public health, and on the American people. Under his watch, families are less safe, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and life-saving research, including right here in Michigan, is being gutted. RFK Jr. is the biggest self-created threat to our health and safety.
Joining us now, the host of the Katie Miller podcast, Katie Miller, and former Michigan gubernatorial candidate, Tudor Dixon. Great to see both of you. I'm going to quote Treasury Secretary Sean Duffy, who used to be my co-host. Good gravy. What is wrong with that woman? Katie, the issue of health and what RFK Jr. is doing is an 80-20 issue. It is about the dinner table. It is about our families. It is about farming, and it is about making literally America healthy again.
It's ridiculous to think that something as small or as trivial as getting, the additives out of our food supply has become such a political hot button issue. Rep. Stevens, she doesn't matter in the grand scheme. One, because she's not a senator, but two, again, this is what President Trump and Bobby Kennedy promised the American people they were going to do on the campaign trail. President Trump told Bobby Kennedy to go nuts, right, on health, which includes overhauling our nation's vaccine system. It includes taking a look at what our vaccines are and are not doing well. It includes taking a look at what additives we have, what coloring is in our food. Can we be serving healthier food to recipients of SNAP and WIC? And of course we can, by the way. It's a nonpartisan, non-political issue that if President Trump does anything, the left has to pick the other side. I'm old enough to remember when Debbie Stabenow was the original advocate of regenerative farming. And look how far we've come that the Democratic Party is disowning Republicans for something that they picked up the mantle on years ago.
So, Tudor, I'm a little more on the pull-up side of MAHA than I am on the healthy eating side of it. I'm working on that, okay? But I appreciate this regenerative farming move. It makes sense to me. It's $700 million, okay? And we just got done talking about the federal government and deficits and debt. Help me understand a little bit more about why that money makes sense spent here when we've got such a messed up fiscal budget to begin with.
Well, I think it's critical for us to make sure that we are looking at what our future is for food availability. And that's something that we critically are in critical need of. We're potentially facing a crisis if we're not looking at that. I think, let me comment a little bit about Haley Stevens, because she is from my home state, and I want you to understand the backstory of why she is doing this. I think it's critical for us to know that she is running for Senate. She is trying to get attention in a very progressive race, and she's also very indebted to the pharmaceutical industry, of which we have one major pharmaceutical company in the state of Michigan, and I'm sure she is hoping for corporate PAC money from that pharmaceutical company. But for me, when I look at this, the importance of this, I'm a woman who, at a very young age, I was a breast cancer survivor. I look at chronic disease. I look at what RFK has said that he's going to do. The secretary has come out and said that he is going to do his best to end chronic disease for young people and for children. I think that's critical. And when I see people like Haley Stevens doing this stunt to make sure that she gets the money from the pharmaceutical companies so that she can go against the progressive left in the state of Michigan, I think it's pathetic, quite frankly, and I think it's dangerous.
All right, we want to move on to this. New report is out highlighting a growing, they're calling it an ambition gap between men and women in the workplace. And the left is blaming Trump's rollback of DEI for the results. The study from McKinsey found that when given the opportunity for a promotion, just 80% of women said yes, compared to 86% of men.
At the entry level, 69% of women wanted a promotion compared to 80% of men. That is the biggest gap in 11 years. And Katie, old Sheryl Sandberg, I say old without the D, she's my age, who was the chief kind of ran Facebook. She went on CNN and was talking about we're backsliding, moaning about companies don't have an excuse to write off half their population. There are completely legally correct things companies can do to make sure everybody can contribute their best of their abilities. I just want to note when she was at Facebook, women only made up about 35 to 37% of the workforce at Facebook, and it was flat. It didn't grow 1 percentage point the last 6 years she was running the company. So I would love for her to just stick a giant sock in it.
I don't know who in this country wants to become an engineer, but I would tell you that it's not primarily women. The engineering field, especially computer engineering, is dominated by men, which is why hiring at Meta during that time period is flat, because no matter how much you want to push women and say that women should have a place in the workplace, at the end of the day, I think most women are waking up in this country and saying that their highest and best value sometimes isn't in the workplace, that it's raising children and having a fulfilling family life. Because at the end of the day, I believe a woman's highest and best use is creating children and making babies. And that also involves, by the way, as a full-time working mother, it also involves working. But I could tell you that my ultimate goal is not to get a promotion. My ultimate goal is to make sure I raise happy and healthy children. And that involves, by the way, going to school for other things outside of engineering. I'd say that more women these days are not leaning in, they're leaning out, because that they know their true value isn't in a corporate grind. It's ensuring that you have a fulfilling family life. Because in the day right now, if you look at who in our country is the happiest, it's conservative women by and large. And that's thanks to President Trump getting the word out about our falling birth rates in this country.
I was just trying to make the point is that the women who stand up and say that they're for women are
never for women.
Right.
Tudor, give you the last word on this one. What do you say?
I absolutely think that this is really good news. When we look at this, we've heard for so many years that women have had to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. It looks like this is an opportunity now for women to spend less time at work and more time at home. And maybe they're married and their husbands are making a big enough salary that they are now able to do that. I think this is great news for the economy. We have mothers spending more time with their kids and choosing that because they don't have to be there all the time, and they don't have to fight for the mega promotion. I think it's great.
Yeah, maybe ambition can be more than just a rung up the corporate ladder that somebody doesn't want to climb in the first. What do I know?
No, you know, because that's exactly what's going on. The ambition is to do something else and not get a promotion, but to go and raise their children. And also, the irony is that they act like Sheryl Sandberg and her ilk act like it's the corporation that's telling women, which is diametrically opposed to what is actually going on. It's women making choices.
Good point.
Sorry, I hate to get all exercised about it.
Katie, Tudor, you guys are the best. Thank you for being with us today. Good to see you.